looking at crypto in a different light, and you need to start using your assets wisely. I see so many people still, what they end up doing is having their tokens locked into centralized exchanges. Now, the big problem with this, if you're new to crypto, you haven't probably experienced any of the problems. If you're experienced in crypto, you've gone through all the heartache of the likes of your Mt. Gox, your FTX, and a host of other different exchanges where assets have basically been taken away from you. Celsius is another one, I think, done something similar where you could stake in app and things like that. Again, the key thing here is you need to start owning your own tokens, own control, own your keys, and be responsible for your own finances. So what I want to do is draw your attention to some of these scenarios here. So again, we're looking at Coinbase and Binance in this scenario. And as you can see here, we're going to focus on Ethereum, maybe, and Solana. At this moment in time, you can see there's 60 billion in stake in market cap on with Solana and Ethereum. You can see the estimated reward is only 2% APY on Ethereum and 5% APY on Solana. Now again, not an extreme, you have further ones out, or ones down here, Cosmos, but the big problem, what you're going to have and what people need to be aware of, is unlocking. So in the case of Ethereum, if I bring back up the chart here again, we had a big run with Ethereum up to nearly 5,000, I think. Yeah, 4,700. Now, if you had your bag in Ethereum here staked on Coinbase and you decided I wanted to try and sell to lock in some profits, there's an on-staking period. So with most crypto assets on buying or on Coinbase, it's going to take anywhere between, like they mentioned here, a few hours to a few weeks, depending on the assets and the chain. So again, the likes of Ethereum could take longer to get off chain and basically get back to you. So all you're really doing is you're giving your Ethereum to the likes of Coinbase, and what they do is they can use it and they'll earn potentially from other DeFi protocols. They might earn 4 or 5% on it and are giving you 2%. Now the same is true with Solana. It's the exact same principle. And if we jump over here quickly to Binance, you can see pretty much a breakdown as well. So with Binance, they're giving you 1.56 up to 146. Now obviously the 146 here is going to be working in a different way. I'm not 100% sure this part of it, but as I said, you can simply earn 1.56% or 2.42%, and in this position, since your principal is not protected, it's more than likely in LP positions again for you, and they're doing it for you. And again, it's going to vary massively what you can get. But like what I mentioned with Coinbase, you have the same problems here. You have 30, 60, 90 days or longer of lockup periods. So when price has a massive move like we did with Ethereum, you're not in a position to actually sell or potentially take profits on these. And what ends up happening is you end up with claiming, look for your tokens, takes a couple of days to come in, and then we're back down here again. So you've lost a massive opportunity there straight away in the potential of what you could have had. So you can see it's down whatever 10-15% since the high. So you've missed that opportunity. This is where I think yield farming and DeFi in general comes into its own. So if we quickly look over here, and we're going to be using 3 different platforms here. We're going to be looking at VFAT, we're going to be looking at SwapX, and again, we're going to be looking at PancakeSwap. So with PancakeSwap or with VFAT, you can see here, you can get into an ETH position on base 5% or 4.5%. The key thing here is, yes, you might say it's only a little bit more than Ethereum, or on Coinbase, sorry. So on Coinbase it was 2%, and obviously over here we're getting roughly 4.5%, so you're only gaining 2%. However, you have access to your coins, so if you decide in the next 10 minutes you want to take your tokens out, you can take them out, you can sell them, you can do whatever you want to do. Whereas Coinbase, you can't, you're holding on to them. You also, there is other different options here with wrapped ETH. So again, there's another one here, there's only 3%. We will have more options. The more you go through it, you'll find different variations of ETH and kind of its wrapped version of ETH. Again, it's going to offer different percentages. Now, where I really like this opportunity is, and I'm not sure if it's on the SwapX one. So you can see here on SwapX, we have the opportunity now for 2 native tokens. So wrapped BTC, wrapped ETH, earn up to 47%. Now, some people will also mention this. Look, this means I'm going to be selling some of my BTC for ETH, some of my ETH for BTC. Now, for me personally, I'm happy with this because I'm happy to be holding. I have long-term stacks and I have my general yield farming stacks that I look to earn with. But the key thing here is what you want to do is you want to be utilizing as much of the your assets as you can and in a safe reason. And again, we have the same situation here. If I decided right now I want to get out of this position, I can turn around, withdraw the position, have my tokens again. And here's another version of ETH again. So you can see we're up to 9.6%. And again, this is Rings, I think ETH is liquid version of ETH, and again Frax Finance ETH as well, which is another liquid version of ETH. And again, you have the opportunity here to earn 9%, and that's much higher obviously than this over here on Coinbase. So the opportunities are there for earning, I think, a lot more with your tokens and with your assets and getting them off the likes of centralized exchanges. The key problems that you have with centralized exchanges is as soon as something happens and for whatever reason, you will not be able to get your funds off it. Now, some people will argue the same can happen to any other protocol within crypto and DeFi, but the thing about it here is because the website may go down, you still can potentially get access to your funds. And again, people will still argue, well, what happens if they run away, a program or a platform or a company or a business, whatever, runs away with your tokens? Well, you still have a slight opportunity to get it back through being able to claim directly from the contracts and things like that. But again, it just means you have a little bit more control and a little bit better opportunity to actually get your funds and get use to your funds. And as I mentioned with Solana over here, you can see it's 5% you're getting. And that's obviously single stake in Solana. And over here on PancakeSwap, again, there is a lot of opportunities here. So I think we have Sol USDC is 200%. Again, I know people are going to question this as kind of, well, I don't really want to be farming these positions. But what you can do is you can set them up into a range, and if it works here, you can set these up into a high range that's going to keep you within range, obviously for a long period of time, and the APRs will have a massive difference on your overall position. So that's something you just have to be kind of familiar with, something you have to be aware of, and I think it's something that I'm massively trying to push for people to get more familiar, I think, with it, because I got caught with having funds on FTX, and basically I pretty much lost them funds for a long time, and it was just wasted opportunities for me. So as I said, you need to get your funds, I think, off exchanges, start understanding how DeFi works, and really start locking it in to the potential opportunities here of ways to earn. So like I mentioned up here, and you can see there, I've done a bit of work on the website and things like that. I've started up my own small little community. Everything is free to join. I have a DeFi starter toolkit. I'm hopefully nearly ready to have it up and published, but the link is in my Discord at the moment, but it is still in beta version, so it's still a lot of things are going wrong at the moment on it for me. But it's a simple enough little HTML coded process where it kind of helps you understand different DeFi scenarios and help you working it out. But you're more than welcome to join. And one last thing on the Wrapped BTC and Wrapped ETH, the reason why I would pick this potential pair instead of USDC is both tend to go in a similar process. So they go up kind of similar and come down similar. And in comparison to if you use a different token, let's say BNB for example, they're not as correlated. So what happens is they don't tend to go in similar paths. So that's the reason with BTC and ETH, because as I said, you're going to get the advantages of one and the disadvantages of the other, and then vice versa, going to swap around. So look, that's pretty much it. Hopefully helps you understand the importance of not having funds on exchanges. And yes, some of these rewards are interesting, are decent, but the key thing you need to remember is you can get much more yourself in this scenario here and have control over it, as opposed to giving it to the likes of, say, Binance, for example, and having them have complete control over your assets and earning the extra yield on top of your own funds. So again, look, do what you want with the information, but I'm hoping it helps you understand the power of yield farming and DeFi. So look, we're going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day.